How Todd Chrisley is reportedly feeling after wife Julie hit Setback at her resentencing hearing. At the end of September, Julie Chrisley traveled to Atlanta for her resentencing hearing, where she hit a setback. The former reality TV star, who was facing charges related to her and husband Todd's guilty bank fraud verdict, had her original 7-year sentence reinstated. Said ruling came after prosecutors recommended that that particular sentence be handed out. The Chrisley's lawyer, Jay Sargent, has since spoken out on the matter and is now providing comment on Todd's alleged feelings about his spouse's recent legal blow. Jay Sargent sent out a statement that included Todd Chrisley's thoughts on the situation. Apparently, the patriarch of the Chrisley Knows Best clan is extremely disappointed and dissatisfied with the ruling that came down during Julie's resentencing. The message Sargent shared with the New York Post also suggested that Todd is concerned about Julie's health and welfare. Those worries come after the mother of 3 apparently experienced what's been described as a serious health problem during her prison stint. This past spring, it was reported that Julie Chrisley had apparently experienced a cancer scare. Her daughter, Savannah Chrisley, revealed during an installment of her Unlocked podcast, Via People, that her mother had been called in by a prison doctor. According to a letter from Julie that Savannah read, the matriarch was told that she might have a tumor. It's unclear if that's the situation that Todd expressed concerns about in the aftermath of the resentencing. Since reporting to prison in early 2023, Julie Chrisley has been serving her sentence at Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Meanwhile, Todd has been housed in federal prison camp in Florida. Todd was initially sentenced to 12 years while, as mentioned, Julie received 7 years. Those sentences were reduced in late 2023, and it was hoped by the couple's legal team that more time might be shaved off. It was this past June that Mrs. Chrisley's sentence was overturned, as it was determined that there was not sufficient evidence to prove she was conscious of the finance-based offenses committed. At the time, Savannah reacted enthusiastically, but also stressed that more work needed to be done. Initially, Jay Sargent hoped to have Julie home by the spring or summer of 2025. Savannah's plan was a bit different, as she aimed for her mother to return sometime around this coming Thanksgiving. Jay Sargent didn't mince words when discussing his disappointment with the decision reached at the resentencing hearing. He referred to the decision as unreasonable and harsh and opined that the judge exhibited bias against Julie Chrisley. As he surmised, she was being made an example of due to her celebrity status. When it comes to next steps for the Chrisley case, Sargent, who also mentioned Julie's health problems, said that an appeal is going to be filed. The attorney also stressed that he, Savannah, and their team are hopeful about receiving an outcome they find to be suitable. All the while, not much seems to have changed when it comes to Todd Chrisley's situation. Yet if his lawyer's comments are any indication, the father of 5 is more immediately concerned about his wife's well-being. Time will tell how both of their situations ultimately work out. Todd Chrisley has faced a whirlwind of emotions ever since he and his wife, Julie Chrisley, were both sentenced to federal prison for tax evasion and bank fraud. The couple, once stars of the popular reality show Chrisley Knows Best went from living a lavish life filled with luxury, family drama, and cameras to being behind bars. But recently, things took a darker turn for the Chrisleys, especially after Julie hit a major setback at her resentencing hearing. And according to sources close to Todd, he is not handling it well. ### a crushing blow. Julie Chrisley's resentencing hearing was seen by many as a glimmer of hope in a sea of despair. The Chrisley family, their lawyers, and even some of their fans hoped that the court would show leniency, allowing Julie a reduced sentence. For months, Todd had held on to this hope like a lifeline, convinced that if Julie's sentence was reduced, it might pave the way for a more favorable outcome for his own case. After all, the two had always faced their battles together, and Todd believed this would be no different. However, when the judge announced that Julie's sentence would remain unchanged, the reality hit him harder than expected. Sources close to Todd revealed that he had been banking on Julie's resentencing as a potential turning point in their legal saga. For a man who once prided himself on controlling every aspect of his life, from his family's finances to their public image, the loss of control over the court's decisions has been devastating. Todd reportedly spent days after the hearing in a state of shock, oscillating between anger, sadness, and disbelief. #emotional turmoil behind bars. Being separated from Julie during their prison terms has already been one of the hardest things Todd has had to endure. The two have been each other's pillars for over 25 years, and even during the height of their legal troubles, they remained steadfastly united. Now, with both serving lengthy sentences in different facilities, Todd feels as though the glue holding his life together is slowly dissolving. Julie's resentencing was, in Todd's eyes, not just about getting her home sooner, but about the emotional and psychological comfort of knowing that she might be spared some of the harsh reality they are both enduring. According to reports from insiders, Todd had built up a fantasy in his mind where Julie's sentence would be shortened, and that somehow this would make their time apart more bearable. When this didn't happen, Todd was left grappling with feelings of helplessness. While Todd has tried to maintain a brave face for his family, particularly for their children, Savannah, Chase, and Grayson, behind bars, he has found it increasingly difficult to keep his spirits up. The emotional toll of knowing his wife is also suffering while facing her own struggles in a different prison is something Todd reportedly thinks about constantly. He feels like he failed her, a source close to the Chrisley patriarch revealed. No matter how much they try to reassure him, Todd believes that he should have been able to prevent this. #strained family dynamics. The Chrisley children have been deeply affected by their parents' incarceration, and Todd, despite being behind bars, is still very much involved in their lives emotionally. He's always been a controlling figure in his children's lives, and now he feels powerless. While Savannah has stepped up to take care of her younger siblings and manage the family's affairs, Todd's absence is felt keenly. In recent weeks, Todd has reportedly become increasingly concerned about the stress the situation is placing on his family. He has heard through their conversations that the pressure on Savannah to keep everything together is mounting. Todd, being a hands-on father, feels the weight of not being able to protect his children from the harsh reality they now face. Julie's resentencing setback has also led Todd to question the future of their family. The Chrisley children had hoped that with one parent potentially coming home sooner, they would have a sense of normalcy again. But with that hope dashed, Todd now worries about how long the family can keep up appearances, especially under public scrutiny. His worst fear is that their unity could crack under the pressure, and that's something he's been desperately trying to avoid. #Todd's mental state. Prison life has been a shock to Todd Chrisley's system. Used to the comforts of a privileged life, Todd's adjustment to incarceration has not been easy. Reports suggest that he struggles with the daily routines of prison, where privacy and luxury are non-existent. Todd has reportedly expressed that the loss of autonomy is one of the hardest aspects for him to come to terms with. He's also been wrestling with feelings of shame, knowing that his family name, once synonymous with wealth and success, is now tainted by scandal.